Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another video. I am the Twisted Jedi, and obviously earlier today we did get the first teaser trailer for Star Wars Episode 9, and what I'm going to do in this video is go through the whole trailer and give a breakdown of as much as I can possibly spot in the trailer. And if I do miss anything and you guys spotted that while you were watching it, make sure you drop it down in the comments below, because we want to get as much out of this teaser trailer as we can, because if there is anything we can take away from this trailer, we absolutely want to do that in this video. So if you spot something that I don't mention, make sure you comment it down below. Also, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, because I will have a lot more Star Wars Episode 9, as well as more Star Wars gaming and TV coverage in the future. Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the trailer playing on loop in the background, and I'm just going to pop some screenshots up on the screen for you guys to check out so you know what I'm talking about and where we can relate to what is being spoken about. So the first image is this shot of Rey on a sandy planet. We're not really sure what planet it's going to be yet. Could be Tatooine, could be Jakku, could be some new planet altogether. We don't really know yet. But the interesting part about this is she actually has Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, or Anakin's lightsaber. This is really interesting because if you guys remember back to Episode 8, this actually split in half when she was battling against Kylo in the fight for this lightsaber. So it's interesting to see that it's making another appearance in Episode 9. It's probably the fact that she has repaired it. I'm pretty sure that's actually been mentioned somewhere since the release of this trailer. So it's really cool to see it come back in the same way. I was hoping a little bit that she'd have her own lightsaber, but this is a cool touch nonetheless. Jumping into the next scene, and literally jumping into the next scene, the image here is Rey doing a ridiculous flip over the top of this, what looks to be a TIE silencer. For those of you that don't know, the TIE silencer is what Kylo Ren flew around, and this looks a little bit different to the one he had in Episode 8. Obviously, the one we saw previously didn't have the red markings on the front of the ship, so this is definitely new. It could possibly be that he's made some upgrades, or he's just changed it a little bit, or there's something else going on here completely. It may not even be Kylo Ren inside of there, so who really knows at this stage, but nonetheless, a very cool scene, Rey doing a backflip. There's some people saying that she could be training with Kylo Ren here in order to take on some bigger force, which we will talk about at the end of the trailer, but it's still a really cool scene nonetheless, whether she is training or actually fighting with Kylo Ren. The part that tells me that she might actually just be training is that he's not actually shooting her, so he's just kind of flying and trying to run her over, so that kind of gives me a hint that she may actually be training and they're not going at each other. Flipping over to the next image, and this is an interesting shot. It was a very brief moment in the trailer. It only lasted 1 to 2 seconds, but something I noticed about the ship that is descending onto this city that we see in the background, this ship looks extremely reminiscent of the one that we saw in Episode 7, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to pop a side-by-side picture up on the screen for you guys right now. I posted this out on Twitter earlier, and it has just blown up and gone mental. It's been all over Reddit and all kinds of social media that people have posted this, so I grabbed it, put it out on Twitter, and everyone's going crazy for it. It's ridiculous. I don't even know who to credit. It's been reposted that many times from the original one that I saw, so I don't really know who to credit in this situation. If it was you that pointed it out in the first place, shout out to you. Absolute props. Great spot. So for those of you that aren't following along this train of thought, the ship that was leaving Rey on Jakku is actually very similar or reminiscent of this ship in the trailer. So it's possible whoever was leaving Rey on Jakku could be making an appearance or a return, or we could be looking into this a little bit too much and it could just be the same type of ship, but part of me highly doubts that as well. Not sure what they're going to do here, but definitely an interesting shot nonetheless. Flipping over into the next scene, and this one's pretty cool. I really love how this scene is designed with the red flow. Kylo Ren taking down an enemy with what looks to be some kind of melee, like axe type weapon. Not sure too much what that could be. It could just be some kind of fighter. It could be a Knight of Ren. We don't know what's going to happen yet. Hopefully it's a Knight of Ren and they end up taking on Kylo at some point. But the interesting part is he stabs this enemy through with like the cross guard on his lightsaber as opposed to just using the actual lightsaber itself, and then plows him into the ground. It's a really cool move, and it's actually like a little bit SmackDown reminiscent. He looks like he's fighting someone in a wrestling show. Part of me wants to know why he's stabbing him with the cross guard and not the actual lightsaber. Is he just trying to wound this person, or is he trying to prove a point? I'm not quite sure what it could be, but it definitely looks amazing, and the red backdrop going along with it looks incredible. Speaking of Kylo Ren, the next scene we get is actually Kylo's helmet being repaired. So you can see the red hot marks where it's been smashed, and Kylo, or whoever is actually mending the helmet, is putting it back together, and it does look really cool. Now, I'm not sure if it's Kylo or someone else. I'm assuming it's going to be Kylo if he's going to return to the dark side, which is my hopes for the movie, but they don't really give too much away. This scene is very short as well, but it's cool to see the helmet coming back. The next bit, we get a look at Poe and Finn in the desert, and it's something that's quite cool about this is if you notice, Finn is actually holding holding what looks to be the staff that Rey used on Jakku, or something reminiscent or very similar to that. I don't know if Rey's actually standing to the side of Finn and that's why we see a shot of this staff, or if Finn's actually holding it himself. So it'll be interesting to see what that scene entails, and also if there's going to be a large portion of the movie with Finn and Poe together. I'd love to see that. I know a lot of you guys will as well, but I definitely think their friendship should develop in episode 9. Now, nothing crazy in the next two shots, but it's something I wanted to point out that I thought was really cool. There is a new little droid buddy for BB-8, and he's going to be referred to as Dio. Now, they mentioned this in the episode 9 panel, otherwise it's not really mentioned too many other places, but it's going to be called Dio, and if you guys have played the Battlefront 2 campaign, that name is going to sound very familiar to you. Obviously, a lot different to what we saw it as in the campaign because Dio was Iden's droid, but it's still the same name, and kind of weird that they've done that correlation and lined it up like that. Not sure if it's meant to be a similar type thing, but in my opinion, I think they could have used a different name, but who knows what they're thinking about over there at the moment. Moving into the next shot though, something that is going to be a fan favorite for a lot of you, an image of Lando Calrissian flying the Millennium Falcon. This is a really cool shot. I'm glad Billy D. Williams has come back for episode 9 to play Lando. I love that he's using the outfit from Solo: A Star Wars Story. You guys remember that bright yellow outfit that he had in that movie? It's now being used in episode 9. So some cool correlations lining up between those two, and it's going to be awesome to see Billy D. Williams back on the big screen. The next thing I wanted to touch on, and it might be quite hard to figure out what you're looking at here, there's a scene in the desert where there's speeders chasing after the crew, and you see an explosion or like sand flying up in the air, and then flying through that is actually some First Order rocket troopers. This is quite cool. We haven't seen this actually portrayed on big screen yet in a movie, and I think this is going to add a really cool dynamic to possibly this chase scene. You know, chase scenes are always quite interesting and fun to watch. This will be really cool with them flying around. We see them in the Clone Wars and in Rebels, so it's definitely great to actually get them in a movie. This next upcoming shot is Leia holding one of the Medals of Bravery. For those of you that can't remember exactly where you've seen this before, but it's on the tip of your tongue, this was at the end of episode 4. It was presented to Luke and Han for their bravery in taking down the first Death Star. So this is where you've probably noticed it. Leia, I would say it's probably Han's medal, and Leia is thinking about Han, missing Han, something along those lines, but definitely cool and nice little touch, and something that ties back in with the original trilogy. Again, speaking of Leia, we get this shot of her hugging Rey, and this is going to be super emotional for a lot of people, myself included. I'm probably going to be in a puddle of tears when this happens in the theaters on opening night. I don't know. I try to be brave and try to like know that it's coming, but this scene I feel like is going to just crush everybody in the cinema. Rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. We all love you, and we hope to see you portrayed in a perfect way in episode 9 with a great send-off. Now, we get into some really interesting stuff right at the end of the trailer here. The whole crew is walking on this planet. Nobody knows what planet it is. It's like barren, and there's oceans with crashing waves. But then right at the back of the picture, we see what looks to be remnants of the Death Star. You see that big like satellite shaped, well, now semicircle because it's half destroyed, but it definitely, I feel like I can say with 99.9% of surety, that is the Death Star in the back there, and Rey is dead staring at it. And what makes it even more possible to be the Death Star is that after this, the screen goes black and Palpatine starts laughing. This is, ooh, it gave me chills when I watched the trailer the first time. I'm sure it did for a lot of you guys, and probably got you extremely hyped because I had no words after watching the end of this trailer when you hear Palpatine's laugh. And Luke actually mentions that no one is ever really gone and that they will be with them forever. So it's one of those things where, you know, Luke says something, but it could also be referring to Palpatine not really being gone. There's a ton of theories already going around. Has Palpatine still alive? Has he actually been haunting the Death Star? Was his rage similar to Darth Maul's when he got cut in half kept him alive after being thrown down the shaft of the Death Star? There's a million possibilities. There's so much floating around the internet. So if you guys have a theory, definitely drop it down in the comments below because I would love to hear some more from all of you guys. Anyways, that's pretty much everything I could get out of this teaser trailer. Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker is going to be in cinemas in December. I am super excited. I'm actually thinking about flying down to Melbourne and seeing the first screening with Sammy Boy. So that would be cool to have our first kind of like movie experience together, and then we can maybe do a live stream after and talk about it, answer any questions from you guys and comments, and give you our sort of feelings and reviews on it. So that'd be really cool as well. But other than that, I'm gonna get out of here. That was everything in the breakdown for the trailer of episode 9, or the first teaser that we saw. I will do this for each trailer that comes out, so make sure you guys stick around. If you want to join the Discord, the link will be in the description below, and I will be posting all the links to videos and streams in the future down there. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. I am the Twisted Jedi, and may the Force be with you always, and remember, stay twisted.
The Sith are all powerful. You are no match for me.